And we are back. It is the Cholent episode 7, I think, right? 7 or 8?
No,
8?
eight.
9? 8! Oh my
Eight.
goodness. I missed one. All
You're
right.
almost gonna run out of hands.
I'm going to run out of hands soon. Almost. Digital Dove, Shirley Cooks. We are so excited to be bringing you a very special episode today where we're going to talk about how Shirley didn't like the fast yesterday because it was inconvenient for his schedule. Because it ended when? At 9:30 at night or something like that?
No, it's the day of the week, not the time.
Oh, the day of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty annoying to like be doing your Shabbos shopping in the afternoon, going to the local supermarket has here, Grand and Essex. They have on Thursday afternoons, they have this like whole setup for like Shabbos stuff with this guy coming and bringing like fresh chicken fingers every 2 seconds for people. And you go to the store. Yes, I went to the store yesterday at, I don't know, 7 o'clock or something like that. And guess what?
7 p.m.?
7 p.m.
Wow.
And they were open really late, actually. But they're bringing out all this like super smelly food. And everyone's walking around the store going like, oh. Like normally on a Thursday night, they got like, the Leil Shishi
Now
station.
imagine starting your fast day like that. Like I went yesterday to my grocery client and I was there for about 3 hours while they're bringing all the food out, and I'm videoing the fish and I'm videoing the chicken and taking pictures of this. And I just keep telling myself, oh, I should really grab one of those on the way out.
to eat later on the way out.
Every 10 minutes, I almost bought a falafel. I almost bought sushi. I almost bought chicken.
What's your favorite break fast food?
So I used to be like, oh, let's have like a nice serious meal. But as I've gotten older and my stomach has gotten less happy with me, I realized that I can't do that. So I actually go very light. Normally, we didn't do it yesterday, but normally we do basically like a soup, like a butternut squash soup with some garlic bread, maybe a salad. That's sort of like something like that. A lot of times they also do just like bagels and tuna, like typical break the fast food.
So like, it's very interesting breaking the fast, because if you went to like, one of the frum camps, breaking the fast automatically meant fried fish, split pea soup, and I think
fried fish after the 9th, you had
and maybe garlic bread. I don't know. That was like what you ate in every camp. That's what they had. And of course, they also you also cleared out the local Entenmann's, and everybody was eating, the donuts and we'll come back to Entenmann's later and talk about all that different stuff.
Yeah, I wonder. Let's put a pin in that. I have a wonder about that.
And then you also have like what's called, if you look in the like what I'll call like the kosher style deli, they have your break fast platters, which are essentially like bris food, which is
right.
Sable and lox and tuna and these giant platters. And who wants to eat that after why would you want salty fish?
As soon as I literally, after like 4 or 5 bites, my stomach is already like a little bit shocked, I think. So I don't know.
So you know what I did yesterday?
Good. No matter what, I never feel good.
I had some, my delicious polar seltzer, again, a commercial for something that we're not getting a commercial for. And then
Mr. Polar?
I had a cup of coffee, and then I had a little bit of salmon. And
yesterday you had coffee?
Last night I had coffee.
Right, I was thinking about
9:30 at night. I had a one small cup of lighter coffee, and it
what
did
does
its
a lighter
job.
Coffee mean?
So there are different brands of coffee that have different like depth.
You mean like the roast?
Them. The roast, yes. I don't know. I'll tell you what it is. The Lavazza pods, the yellow one instead of the dark purple one. Okay, there you go. Right. That's the lighter one.
So and it actually because you wanted to have less caffeine. Is that
I
why?
Don't know. It was purely psychological. Oh. I had no problem sleep. Well, then again, I do go to sleep very late. So by 2:30 in the morning when I went to sleep, it didn't really affect me. But that's besides the point. But I had that, and then like later on, I had a little bit more. But back in the day, like people used to get these crazy meals of like stuff to break their fast. And I'm like,
yeah, I can't do that. I also regret not having a coffee last night. I didn't want to have a coffee last night because I didn't want to stay up late, which would, in retrospect, backfired on me anyway because
you stayed up late.
No, because I got a migraine like around an hour or two before the fast was ending. It was like that beginning of a headache, and then it just By the time the fast is over, it was like full on like pounding, terrible
So
migraine.
have you ever had those time release pills? You
I
know,
know
like
someone told me that
the
today in the
fasting
store
pills.
also. I'm gonna have to try it. Uh,
So
you
there
talking
is.
like caffeine, or you talking about the other thing? Whatever. There's like
So
a
there are all different kinds. There's
right.
Advil, Tylenol, electrolytes, this, that, the other. The only problem is sometimes, and I used to take them, but I stopped because they would hit at 5 o'clock in the morning. And like on Yom Kippur at 5 o'clock in the morning, you don't want a jolt of caffeine because then you're up. And a davening's not starting till 7, 8, whatever. You're
Right.
up. And
And
that's
that's the
it.
other thing. That's the other thing. A lot of, if you see on Instagram, everybody has the hack, whatever the hack is, the coconut water or the watermelon or the water, this, that. They all work in theory, but by 12, 1 o'clock the next day, we're on the same boat.
Watermelon, I will tell you, is great and does hydrate you great, but unfortunately, it also means that in the middle of Eicha, you, on Tisha B'av night, you had too much watermelon,
Yeah.
so
I
that's
know,
a
that's what I'm
problem.
saying, that for me, no matter what I do, I mean, I'll try some of these pills maybe in next fast, but for me, by 4 or 5 o'clock, I'm already, it's like I start getting a headache, I get dehydrated. I'm a big drinker. I drink a lot of water and juice and other things throughout the day. I'm a very thirsty person. I don't know.
All right,
So,
Shirley, I got an idea. I got an idea. So let's bring this back because we started this as the Sameach Music Podcast back in the day. And we're back now after, I don't know, 20 years. Yeah. And ladies and gentlemen, joining us momentarily, the one and only Dovid Gabay. Throwing it back, Dovid. We were just actually trying to figure out when we did our show 20 years ago, you came on a couple of times, right? That was
Of
like in your
course.
heyday,
yeah, for sure.
Of course. Of course. Hey, my heyday didn't start yet. What are you talking about?
Oh, wow. So
We're
talk
going on
about
we're going on 2.0 here.
2 point. Well, I mean, so there was a little bit of break. So I became Digital Dove, Shirley became Shirley Cooks, and you became David Hamza Gabe
Yeah.
or
You're
credit card.
embracing your Sephardic heritage.
I love it.
There we go.
Your
There we
I
go.
your
You
love
got to
it.
tap in, you
ancestors
know
are
what I mean?
proud.
It's
They are the biggest market in the Jewish world, by the way, for those who, like Shweki, who figured that out like 20 years ago, basically. David,
100%. I
welcome
gotta
back to the
say,
music business.
I gotta say, first of all, it's so great to see you guys together again. This is incredible. Peanut butter and jelly, meat and potatoes, kishke and gravy, whatever combination you wanna throw at anyone. I mean, this is awesome. I am loving it. I'm listening to you guys, and it just takes me back, to the as you would call it, the heyday. But like, this is incredible that the three of us are just, paired up again like this.
So, David, I do want to tell you that literally just last week, I was cleaning out my house and I threw out a bunch of CDs, including a brand new shrink wrapped. I don't remember what the title of it was. I think it was like your second or third CD. I may have thrown it out because I literally don't even have in my house a way to play a CD right now.
Incredible.
I think one of my cars might have a CD player, but I wouldn't even know where to find it. But welcome
You're
back to the music business.
What do you mean? You're a digital dove. I mean, there's no reason to have a CD. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Everything is MP3. So could you tell everybody, first of all, what happened? What made you think of coming back to the business?
This is a great question that you're asking. I was actually really mentally and emotionally shut down from music for a long, long time. Meaning, when I left the industry, it was a conscious decision, and I'm an all-in type of guy. I didn't want it to be like, I'm out like halfway, and then like I'll take like something here and I'll take something there, and maybe I'll record one song. I'm not like that, right? So like I jumped into my business, and then, after like 2 years, I had to cut it. Um in regards to why I came back. So I mean, I really left for for my family. I wanted to be there for my kids, being around, the late nights, the traveling. It was tough to balance both. And now, I have a different dynamic in my family. My kids are older, they pitch in and they're amazing. So the dynamic of my family changed there. And you know what? October 7th came around and it rattled my neshama. My neshama all of a sudden had this urge to, I should do something. I should put something out. I should sing. I need to put out music to inspire myself, to inspire others around me. And then from that point, I had this thought process that was like cooking, right? So like, and then all of a sudden, a friend made a wedding. I sang a chuppah for his son, and then like that feeling came back, and you walk into the ballroom, the band is playing, they're gelling, everybody's having a great time, and one thing led to another where I just made a decision. I said, you know what? I think I'm going to start producing music again. And Mitzvah Hashem, gonna be on stage again, concerts, weddings, things like that. So this is a tremendous, time in my life where I'm ready for, the next stage. No pun
That's
intended.
crazy. That's crazy. So, what would you say? You're talking about a guy who was producing albums back in what we call the heyday, where albums you had to fly to Israel to meet with this guy, and it took this way. Yeah, this guy had to do the arrangements and the horn session one day, and now people are doing things on their iPhones and creating songs. What would you say is the biggest difference in terms of the way music is created for a guy who was there and now is back and missed like 20 years of the evolution of that? Where everything became digital. Now you went from everything literally being analog. You recorded your albums literally to tape. Am I right? Back in the day, as we keep saying.
My first album was on cassette. Also mainly CD,
Cassette.
but we also printed cassettes. Yeah, definitely.
But the actual recording process, I mean, even that was literally the 2-inch tape, right? Where'd you go? Systems 2, Larry Gates. Where did you do it?
No, I think we were already by Shlomi's. I was already in a digital format, but they had the big boards, right? They had they still had the big boards with the mixing and but yeah, I mean, it's certainly.
And now everyone just has an iPad and that's it.
It's really incredible. I think the biggest change from everything is obviously the quality of the studios, the quality of the plugins, and the music that's coming through is incredible. But I would say the biggest change today is, I think, AI. In the way that I did not produce my new song with AI, right? So the role that AI played here was that I sat down with Yitzi Waldner.
It's funny that everyone has to say that now. You have to say that.
You know what? I think you
have to say it now, but in 5 years from now, we won't say it. We'll just assume.
Right.
We'll just know that's basically part of the process. It's integration.
Yeah, I think it played the role that it played was like I sat down with Yitzi Waldner. I said, this is the concept that I want to do. We composed the song, the same process as 20 years ago, right? So we sat down, we composed the song. Then we took that, we put it into an AI generator where we just wanted a kind of a vision of what can this song be. So it's basically created a demo. And then after that, we went to Yoel Weiss, and that's right, the pre-arrangement, just to like get an idea, concept of what this can sound like. And we manipulated it for about an hour and a half, just to get it really cooking. And then I brought that to the arranger and to the music producer, Yoel Weiss, who was par excellence. I mean, he was tremendous. He took it to the absolute next level. It doesn't really sound anything like it did in the AI, but it did give him an inspiration of what the vision of where we wanted to go with it. So, I mean, it was really, really incredible. I had a great team here on the project. Elchanan Garden House musician, also had a big role here, in terms of deciding, helping with decisions and things like that. So, it's always great to work with a great team and to produce great music again. I mean, it's unbelievable. I'm already on the next one.
Do you find that you did miss it? Like when you got back in the studio, were you like, man, I missed this? Or not?
That was the first comment that I made to my wife after my vocal session was, that was exhausting. And the second comment that I said was, this is where I belong. I need to make more music. Wow. And it just felt right. It just really felt right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And also, David, you're really kind of unique in that you were a guy who literally was at the top of his game. You were one of the top artists in the industry in terms of albums, concerts, weddings, stuff coming out, and you just said done, and you
Yeah.
stopped. It's
Yeah.
not like a lot of artists go on that arc where they stop because the industry stops them. You
Right.
stopped at your own choice, which is frankly the best way to do it. And I guess we'll see what the industry now says about Dovid Gabay coming back. I mean, you're not making that decision; the industry will.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I think that same decision really applies to come back, because I'm kind of coming back on my own terms. Like I don't really need to do this. I'm doing it because I want to. I'm doing
Right.
it because I want to have fun doing it. And I see where the industry is. The level, the bar of music is so high, and I love it. I'm just loving the productions that are coming out, and the singers, and the level of talent that's out there regarding musicians, bands, production, singers. Like I love this. What's going on right now? And I said,
That's awesome.
I could really contribute here.
It's funny
You know,
because
love what
I remember back in the heyday, as we say, I was involved in many albums, not just from like working on them, but also from the marketing side or interacting with the singers. And I'm not gonna say anyone's name, but I always felt that a lot of the singers who had businesses or other jobs who didn't have the stress and the anxiety that this must succeed, their albums had a certain sense of like chillness, like relaxed. The artists always seemed a little more relaxed. Like you're saying now, though, this ability to, it's not everything. It's something you want to do. It's not something that you have to do. I think it really makes a big difference on how the project comes out.
I will say, love what you do. You never work a day in your life, no matter how hard you're working. If you love what you're doing, I mean, Shirley has it with his cooking. I have it with my game shows where like I work really hard, but I love it. And people are like, you have the best job in the world. I'm like, yeah, you're seeing that 45-minute show. You're not seeing the 8 hours in the car, the 10 hours of prep, the hundreds of WhatsApps back and forth with the customer. Shirley, when you see a Shirley 45-second cooking video on him making Kugel or whatever, you're not seeing the 10 hours of preparation and shooting and editing and da-da-da-da. But
The
he
cooking
loves
is
what
the
he
easy
does.
part.
The cooking's the easy part. That's right. So, David, you got into the credit card processing business, which do you love that?
Love it. I love dealing with people. I'm a connector, right? So I always was, and in the music industry. And I think it initially, when I went into it, I was like sales and business, and I was like, how am I going to do this? This is a transition. And then I really quickly realized this is just people, right? I win at people. I
That's
love
it.
people, and we connect well. And you got to be people, right? So that's it.
It's so special that here you are again after being at the top, taking a break, and now you're coming back in now. But again, the way things you like, how did you know who someone was on the top 20 years ago? Album sales, this, that, the other. Now it's likes and streams or whatever it was. Really, what are the benchmarks now? Would you say
I guess it's
for somebody?
streams, plays, followers on Spotify.
Things like that. That's the
Yep.
benchmark now. And if you think about it, whereas an album production 20 years ago involved hundreds of thousands of dollars, literally. Now, I mean, that same kind of money doesn't really have to go into it. You got guys who are making albums in there with their iPhone, sitting in a room in Shalavim, and then boom, it comes out and it explodes for whatever reason. But
You know what? I'll tell you.
you
I thought that was going to be the case. And I kind of did my research, and it's really not that much cheaper. I mean, again, you can.
Wow.
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, you can do something on like, Suno or, one of these AI things, and spit something out for whatever. And you're not going to get something that sounds like what I just produced, right? So it's not going to sound the same.
Wow.
Can you technically, technically by the letter of the law, produce music for very, very cheap? Yes.
And I was having a trouble matching the quality of the AI, but it's what we realized is that the reason why it's hard to match the quality of the AI is that AI is just giving you that generic what is popular. So you're getting the sound that's very professional and sounds amazing, but you're not getting the life or the neshama or the individuality of the song that you want to convey. I think that goes across the board with all AI usage, where they could mimic a really good article, but you know that it's missing that writer's unique viewpoint or touch. So it's a scary balance to play with. And I think that if you're using it right, which sounds like you are, to use it as sort of like what it could sound like, or fix these little pieces that you're not 100% sure, and then instead of wracking your head around it, AI will help you figure out what you're missing.
That's right. That's right. You know, I was toying around with the AI and I created like, I don't know, 50 versions of it, right, of my song. And like, just to get an idea of like, how would they sing it? How would they, like, maybe different shticks, different things. And initially I thought that that was the way. And then I just got in the studio. I did my own thing anyway. And then I was just like, I sound way better than that.
That's that.
You know?
That's that. People always ask me, do you have AI write questions for your game shows? And I'm always saying, no, because it's not like, it doesn't understand how my head works. It thinks it does, but it doesn't. I'll do it. I use it for research all the time. Like if there's a topic that I want to create stuff about, I'll ask it for ideas, similar kind of thing that you do with songs. Ask it for ideas or ask it for, you know, what could I do, blah, blah, blah. But the actual material at the end of the day, I find with everything, if you count exclusively on AI, you're just ending up with a mediocre at best product. There's still something about having that human element to what we do, all of us in our different worlds.
For that thing where it's like, it helps you with the brainstorming, because that process, sometimes if artistically you have an idea and you're not 100% sure how to get it from an idea to the actual thing, and it could take you a while to get over to that point. And with AI, it could help you a lot of times, like, well, what do you think? Did you mean this? Did you mean this? What about this? And then you're like, well, you know what? The thing I was thinking of. And then that connects it to the final piece.
Correct. The trick is learning how to use AI as the tool as opposed to using AI. That's what you need. It's a tool. Just like, you know, a songwriter has a keyboard or something like that, use AI as that same tool. So Dovid, this whole new experience of coming back and all that, you just loved it, right? You loved it.
Loved it.
But your first thing you said was that you're tired. Physically, you're not where you were 20 years ago, right? Yeah. Like singing, those muscles had to...
So I've always been singing in the house, right? With my boys. My boys are growing up. We have huge kumsitzes in the house. So we're definitely singing in the house. I haven't been at a solid recording session, a 4-hour, like really, you know, Yitzi Waldner beat up Dovid Gabay type of, you know, recording session. Hey, Dovid, you got to do it again. You got to do it again. You know? But one comment that he made to me was, Dovid, you just hit a high C sharp. I don't think I've ever heard on any of your recordings
that's high, folks, by the way. That's very high.
He said, how do you explain that, right? And I said, what are you talking about? I have 11 years that I rested my voice for it, right? So it was like, it was a no-brainer. Tongue in cheek, but like really, I feel like I'm at the top of, you know, of whatever, you know, caliber singing that I ever was. I don't think anything really dropped because, you know, I'm not, you know, old. I just, you know, a couple of years have passed, and definitely will take some vocal exercising for me.
Dovid, we're old. We're old.
Those are a very liberal couple of years.
Okay, you got me. Okay,
we're old, Dovid. When we were kids and we always looked at the old guy in shul, that guy is younger than us right now, just so you know. Okay? We're old. Give it up. But yeah, in our heads, in my head, I am 14.
I saw this
in my
guy
head,
recently.
I am 14 right now. 14.
I saw this guy recently, and he looked like he's probably in his late 40s, early 50s. And then it said that he's 43. And then I said, I'm 48. So wait a minute. Extrapolation math.
Be careful.
There you go.
That's awesome to see that you're at the top of your game physically, and that you're loving what you're doing. What can people expect from Dovid Gabay? More music? Are you looking to perform a little?
Single, Hamza?
Yeah, what is it? Just a single?
Hamza is a new release single. It's Mitzvah Hashem. The plan is that it will be a first of many. I feel like, nothing against albums, but I feel like that is
those are done. Who releases albums? That's done.
When you're putting music out, you're always relevant. Every time you're putting out a single, it's always like, as opposed to putting out 12 at a shot, yes, you're giving people a lot of information and a lot of good music. At the same time, within 2 weeks, you're cooked, right? Like until you come out with your next album in a year and a half, like they're on to the next thing, and then you don't get listened to for a year and a half. So I feel like, putting out a single will always keep you relevant. It always keeps the hype up. It always, gives something new and fresh.
You feel
Frankly,
like the
I like this better. I think there's less pressure on the singers also. You know what I mean?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. You used to have 12 songs.
Yeah.
You needed your Shir LaMelech, you needed your Essa
Right,
Eina,
exactly,
you needed your Dida Bay,
exactly.
you needed
Yep.
you needed that on every album.
Do you feel like
Yeah.
the pressure on each individual singer, not singer, do you feel like the pressure on each individual song is greater? Because when you're making an album, you have the foresight to know that these are my strong songs or my commercial songs, really, I want to say, your commercial songs, and these are
Right.
my love songs. These are my songs that
Right.
maybe not everyone will love, but and then when you put out a single that's that style, if it doesn't get accepted or it gets, just, do you feel like it's more pressure on that type of a song to succeed?
I do agree with you. I think when you're going in a singles route all the time, I think you're kind of thinking this, it has to hit, right? It has to hit. It has to hit like each time. Like I can envision myself thinking that every single time, right? Whereas you're right. Like if you put out an album with 12 songs, this is my Yom Zeh Mechubad, which I'm not going to be singing at weddings. And I know that. And Davin for me is not supposed to be at weddings. This is a concert song, but that Ligabé better hit at weddings, right? Like exactly what you're saying in that sense. Here I can see that pressure in that sense kind of rising, that each single that you put. But again, as you're composing and as you're producing the songs, you have to have in mind like exactly where you want to go. Which I kind of have ideas now, exactly what type of songs that I want to be putting out. And again, not everything has to be a wedding song or a concert song. And it's okay for it to be like, a Shari Shamayim that is like, just for like kumsitzes. And obviously it could, translate into other areas, but, maybe I'll have a song that will only, that will be geared and targeted specifically that guys should catch on to this. It will be a kumsitz, and it'll be the next Shara Shemaim where you can insert it into Mimkoimchas and in that sense, not necessarily a chuppah song.
Leil Shishi chill song. Leil Shishi chill
Exactly.
song. That's what
Exactly.
it is.
Yep.
That's a whole genre.
The other
That's
thing I
right.
think you could hope for is that a song that you put out that might be more of a passion song, that might not be like, again, your hit style song, but that it's there so that if someone doesn't grab onto it right away and they need a few listens, so that it'll be there. It's not going anywhere.
Right.
So you
Right.
could still listen to it over Spotify. It's in your history. It'll come up on the shuffle or whatever, and
That's
hopefully it'll
right.
be appreciated even when you're long.
That's right.
And
That's right.
of course, there's going to be a remix. There's going to be a remix of whatever you put out because that's what happens,
That's right.
Yeah, I
Slow
found
and
that a lot
fast.
of these type of songs, I found that today when people talk about nostalgia and songs that they think back to, I'm always surprised for them to bring up a song that wasn't really a hit, 20 years ago. It was on the album and some people appreciated it and some people didn't. And you'd see that a lot of those songs really stand the test of time. So, hopefully that'll be the same thing when those
That's
type
true.
of things happen.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
This has been a super trip down memory lane, and frankly, the beginning of some brand new stuff with the one and only Dovid Gabay. Dovid, thank
When
you
does
so
the song
much.
drop?
The song drops
But yeah,
on
when did it drop?
So the
Do we
song
still say
drops
drop?
on only on 24/6. There isn't a 24/6 exclusive for 3 days. So it'll be Motzei Shabbos, Sunday and Monday, and then Tuesday it hits all other platforms.
By the way, just think about that. Think about 20 years ago, 24/6, a platform for from people to get music instantly. Nothing like
Incredible.
that existed. You remember how you had to go
Incredible.
you had to go to like Eichler's and listen in the if you made it into the machine with the headphones. Oh my
right.
gosh, remember that, Shirley?
I
Oh my
remember
goodness.
that when I was by Sameach and people started this habit of ripping that CD and then throwing it up online. And we would try to time the delivery of the albums to Eichler's at a certain point when the Bachrim were still in yeshiva, because we knew that if we delivered it at
Wow.
5 o'clock, the Bachrim would be out of Seder, get the CD, and within an hour it would be online. But if you released it at like 1:32, they were still in yeshiva. They couldn't get to the Judaic store time. We bought ourselves
That is
3 hours.
amazing.
Hey, you know what? I always say Mordechai Shapiro's career was made by the Schar Mitzvah song, which got released right before the summer, and it got played in every single camp. And
Right.
that song at that time, at that release, right song, right time, right era, boom, that was it. So, I mean, just, the timing of these things really does make a difference.
It
But
does.
wow, Dovid, thank you so much for taking the time to join us. This was super digga-digga-datum exciting. Yes, that song, by the way, stood the test of time. Every kid knows that song today. Even if they, are only, 7, they know that song. So, hey. We're losing you.
Imagine that for a kid that's 10 years old, Dovid Gabay is a new artist.
Yeah, think about that. Wow. All right.
That's
Digital
right.
Dove, Shirley Cooks, Dovid Hamza Gabay joining you live on the Cholent, folks. Thank you so much.